Okay, let me ask you something. What if the person you loved wasn't real? Not like a literal ghost, but a perfect illusion you just couldn't let go of. Well, that's the absolutely dizzying question at the heart of Alfred Hitchcock's 1958 masterpiece, Vertigo. And today, we're going to peel back every single layer of this incredible psychological thriller. So on the surface, this story seems like a classic Hitchcock thriller, right? It's got all the pieces. We kick things off with this intense rooftop chase in San Francisco, and bam, a detective's life is just completely shattered by a single traumatic event. And it leaves him with this crippling new phobia. But here's the thing. The real fall in this film, it's not from a building, not even close. It's a fall straight into the darkest corners of the human mind. It's about a kind of madness that's fueled by obsession, by deception, and this desperate love for a woman who might not even exist. So a spiral of fear. To really get this, we've got to get inside the head of the guy who's falling. Let's dig into how Hitchcock uses this amazing visual language to show us a world and a mind that is just spiraling completely out of control. So this is John Scotty Ferguson, and his career as a detective, it pretty much ends right here on this rooftop. A fellow officer falls to his death trying to save him, and Scotty is just left with this crushing guilt and a brand new paralyzing phobia. The technical term for it is acrophobia, an extreme fear of heights. But for Scotty, it's so much more than that. It shows up as this visceral, gut-wrenching vertigo. And we're not just talking about being scared, you know? It's a physical, totally disorienting loss of reality. The ground literally drops out from under him, both for real and, in his head. And this is where Hitchcock is just brilliant. He visualizes all this inner chaos with one powerful, repeating image, the spiral. And I mean, once you see it everywhere. It's in the opening credits, it's in the tight bun in a woman's hair, it's in these long, winding staircases. It's this constant reminder that we are totally trapped right alongside Scotty in his dizzying obsession. All right, the voyeur's gaze. So this spiraling mindset of his pulls him into this really strange new case. But the film isn't just about what Scotty sees. It's about how he sees it. And this is where Hitchcock kind of turns the camera back on us, forcing us to become watchers, voyeurs, right along with him. So Scotty gets pulled out of retirement for this really bizarre job from an old buddy. The task? He has to follow this guy's beautiful wife, Madeline. And get this, the husband thinks she's possessed by the ghost of a tragic ancestor. Yeah, really. And so, as Scotty starts tailing Madeline through these foggy San Francisco streets, you have to start asking yourself a really important question. Whose story are we really seeing here? Well, there's actually a film theory concept for this, and it's called the male gaze. See, we're not just watching a guy watch a woman. No, we are forced to see Madeline through Scotty's eyes. She's not a person, she's an object. The object of his fascination, the object of his mystery, and ultimately the object of his obsession. And in scenes just like this one, we become part of it. We are right there, spying alongside him. Madeline has no idea. She's just living her life. She's passive, an image to be consumed. But Scotty, and that means us too, we're the active observers. It's such a powerful trick, and it pulls us right into his voyeurism. An impossible romance. This watching from a distance. It doesn't stay that way for long. It evolves, or maybe a better word is devolves, into what looks like a romance. But trust me, it's one that is haunted from the very start. And then everything changes. Madeline throws herself into the San Francisco Bay. Suddenly, Scotty has to dive in. He's not just a watcher anymore. He's an active participant. He's her savior. And that single act creates this incredibly intense and dangerous bond between them. Okay, you have to listen, really listen, to Bernard Herrmann's musical score here. On the surface, it's so lush and romantic, right? Like a classic Hollywood love story. But if you listen closer, there's this constant undercurrent of tension and dread. The music is basically screaming at us that this is not a romance. It's an obsession. The great deception. That feeling of doom in the music, it just keeps building and building, right up to the film's first major deception. It's a tragic turning point, and it's captured with a cinematic trick that was literally invented for this movie. So, Madeline is convinced she's doomed to repeat her ancestor's suicide. She flees from Scotty at this old Spanish mission and just starts racing up a bell tower, the The one place, the only place she knows her lover, with his crippling fear of heights, cannot possibly follow her. Now, to put us right inside Scotty's terrified mind, Hitchcock and his crew literally invented a new camera technique. It's called the dolly zoom. The camera itself physically moves backward on a track, but at the exact same time, the lens zooms forward. And the effect? Oh man, it's this sickening, reality-bending warp of perspective. And that gives us the now famous Vertigo effect. It is the absolute perfect visual metaphor for his psychological paralysis. You watch as the world literally stretches and contorts around him, and he just stands there, frozen, helpless, as he watches Madeline fall to her death. Now, think about this. Most directors would save their biggest, juiciest twist for the very end, right? Not Hitchcock. He does something incredibly bold. About 2/3 of the way through the movie, he just lays the entire conspiracy out for the audience to see. And here it is, the big twist. The woman Scotty knew as Madeline, she was an actress named Judy Barton. She was hired to impersonate the real Madeline as part of this super elaborate murder plot. The woman he fell in love with was a ghost. She was a complete fiction. And just like that, the whole tension of the film shifts. It's no longer what happened, it's now this agonizing waiting game of what's Scotty gonna do when he finds out. Resurrecting a ghost. I mean, that reveal completely changes everything. It pushes the film into its dark final act. This isn't a mystery anymore. Now it's a deeply, deeply disturbing look at a man trying to bring a ghost back to life. So after a complete mental breakdown, a haunted Scotty just happens to run into Judy, the real woman. But he doesn't see her. He can't. He only sees the ghost of Madeline. And so he starts on this really unsettling project. He's going to meticulously strip away everything that makes Judy who she is. Her clothes, her hair, her personality, and remake her into the fantasy that he lost. And this is the peak of his obsession. Judy emerges, fully transformed back into Madeline, and she's bathed in this eerie green light from a nearby neon sign. You have to know, in Hitchcock's world, green is the color of ghosts. It's the color of twisted memory and deception. Scotty hasn't brought his love back to life. He has successfully manufactured a ghost. Tragedy repeats itself, but here's the thing about ghosts. You can't control them forever. Scotty's obsession with perfectly recreating the past, well, it leads him to one final, shocking confrontation with the truth. He is so close. He almost has his perfect fantasy back. But then, he sees it. One tiny detail that unravels the entire thing. The necklace. It's the same one from the portrait of Carlotta Valdez. And in one single horrifying moment, it all collapses. He knows. He is enraged. He drags her back to the scene of the crime, all the way back to the bell tower, to force her to live through the trauma all over again. In this frantic need to hear her confess, he actually overcomes his fear of heights. But just as Judy is telling him she loves him, a figure, a nun, steps out of the shadows. It startles Judy, and in the most cruel, twisted echo of the first tragedy, she falls. For real this time. And Scotty is left standing there, cured of his vertigo, but completely and utterly alone. So the film leaves us with this really haunting question, doesn't it? Scotty got exactly what he wanted. He literally brought his perfect woman back from the dead, only to lose her again. And it makes you wonder, right? When we fall in love, are we really loving an actual person? Or are we just in love with the perfect ghost that we've built inside our own minds?